facing the heat from the US, China has finally agreed to address its trade imbalance with India. Beijing has agreed to prepare a roadmap for addressing the trade imbalance with India. The Chinese have agreed to accelerate market access for Indian agricultural products pertaining to non-basmati rice, rapeseed meals, soya meals and other food products. At a meeting of the 11th session of the India-China Joint Group on Economic Relations and Trade, the two sides agreed to drop a medium and long-term roadmap with action points to address the trade imbalance. India has a very skewed trade ties with China. The trade imbalance is to the tune of $50 billion in China's favor. All right, joining me live from the WION newsroom is my colleague Sumit Chaturvedi. Good evening, Sumit. A breakthrough finally on the trade imbalance front between India and China?
It looks like, Ramesh, because look at the figures. India and China account for around 40% of total global population, 20% of GDP, but only 1% of bilateral trade between two countries, and that is also very imbalanced. Well, we export a lot of things from China, but we import very little. It was a cause of concern for all of us, especially in India, since many years. Now, India has finally, taken the bull by the horns, I will say, and finally been able to broke this deal with China, where China will address the concerns of India and will open its overall borders for more and more Indian goods. Well, what Indian goods can go to China? They are majorly of two types, agriculture and pharmaceuticals. And that's what China is promising now, India, that going forward they will open their market for Indian products more and more. Look at the data, $50 billion worth of trade imbalance between India and China. We export goods worth only $10 billion, but when we import worth $70 billion. So that's kind of imbalance of trade between India and China. Now, at this time, when China is facing a problem from US because of the high tariffs, it can concede to India demands because it doesn't want to lose a big market like India next to the country. So that's why now they have agreed to many demands of India, especially yesterday when the bilateral meeting took place between Indian Commerce Minister and his Chinese counterpart.
Also, Sumit, very clearly, what do we know about the roadmap for addressing this trade imbalance between India and China? The Chinese have agreed to accelerate market access, no doubt. But what other details can we able to glean from this talks here in New Delhi?
Well, that's not a very clear thing at this moment, Ramesh, because what they have said is that it is going to be a very clear approach when it comes to solving the bilateral issues between India and China. So there is no clear roadmap so far, but agreeing to look into this issue, it is also a big thing because finally they have agreed to the problem, and going forward there would be some more meetings, and only after that a final conclusion can be arrived at. What will be the modalities as far as this meeting is concerned, or how to take the overall trade deficit or trade imbalance forward toward the solution.
All right, on that note, Sumit Chaturvedi, thank you so much for joining me on WION Dispatch.